I'm Mark Beck.
And I'm Stephanie Thompson, and we're coming to you from Sunset Plaza here in Kalispell, Montana.
And this is Selling Montana, a podcast about business, real estate, and entrepreneurship here in Montana. And we have one of our favorite guests. He's back.
Hi, guys.
He's got a new title, the Honorable Tony Brockman. Representative Tony Brockman. I messed up your title.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, that's okay because it's a title I'm not comfortable with, being called your honorable representative.
Yeah, neither are we.
It's weird.
I wanted to get the film rolling because we've been saying so many fun titles for Tony.
All the funny stuff was said
I know.
pre-show.
Pre-show.
How about we just go with Tony?
Yes.
We'll go with Tony.
That feels most comfortable.
Yeah, that's
That
how we
does.
know you.
That's how we know you.
Oh, so Tony, you've been a legislator for how many weeks now?
8 weeks, I believe.
8 weeks.
Since January 2nd, 2023.
Okay. So
Raised my hand, swore to protect the state constitution and the national constitution.
cool. That's impressive. You're a rookie though, so this is your first year.
Yep.
And what you were explaining to me, so just to catch you up, I went down and spent a week or 2 days with you on the House floor because it was a Realtor in the Capitol Day.
Yeah,
for
thanks
one
for
day.
inviting me, Tony.
Anyone's always welcome to come to Helena.
You know, people were like, "Mark, how'd you get here?" Because I didn't take the bus with the rest of the realtors. And I'm like, "Oh, well, no, I'm good buddies with Tony. I drove down last night and stayed at his house." And they're like, "What?" Yeah. So, real estate's all about who you know, not what you know.
Oh, my gosh. Well, next year.
Next year.
Come on down.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you're new to the game though, and you've tell me a little bit about being new. What do you do? What do you not do?
So I serve on, every legislator serves on, if they're not on the appropriations committee, which of course appropriations figures out the state budget. So if you're not on appropriations, you then serve on 3 committees. I serve on the state administration committee, which deals with elections issues and general state government and veterans affairs issues. I serve on transportation, which of course deals with our state transportation needs. That's highways, anything transportation, right? We even get into like horse equestrian trails. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, wow.
And agriculture. So obviously that's self-explanatory. We deal with ag issues there. And I serve on a 4th on-call committee, legislative administration. So we deal there with anything that is legislative related. So there's that, and then I am running 25 bills, which is ambitious. Typically, you only run...
On your own?
On your first,
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So typically, freshmen only deal with like 5, right? You get 5 ideas, you throw them up there. But I'm carrying a lot of the governor's red tape relief initiative bills. There's 20 of them, I believe. Anything from adjusting a slight word in code to clearing out code. There's old, antiquated. It's pretty funny. Like one of the bills that Representative Paul Green out of Hardin ran repealed our huckleberry laws. So we had a law on the books that required you to report where you got your huckleberries at.
oh gosh.
Now, tell me what Montanan is going to disclose their huckleberry patch.
Yeah.
So it's old laws like
No.
that. That's right. So it's the governor's red tape relief initiative is clearing out all that old clutter that is, in some cases, 100 and some years old.
So that's legit a law that
Yeah.
you should report where you got your huckleberries?
Yeah.
The huckleberry patch isn't reporting.
The Huckleberry police are going to come get you.
Yeah. Look out, Huckleberry Patch. No, I'm just kidding.
and
I
so-
buy huckleberries from there all the time. Please don't turn them in.
Well, we repealed it, so
Oh, good.
We're all legal now. But that's, so old clutter, that's 20 of the bills I've been running. One of the other bills is to get sidewalks in Evergreen.
I was going to ask you. Tell us about that's your
Yeah,
big
that's
bill.
your big
That's my
one.
baby bill.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
For real.
Well, of course, that was House Bill 472. It would it appropriates $1 million for safe routes to schools for kids in Evergreen. There along Highway 2, you're dealing
little
with cow
dirt
trails.
path, yeah.
You're dealing with cow trails, right? And 25 years ago, I was one of those kids that walked along Highway 2 on my way to and from school.
Same. Well, I didn't go to school there, but I lived in Evergreen, and we'd ride our bikes to the gas station and
through the little ditches and the couch.
Yeah, for real.
Exactly.
For real.
So this would build sidewalks from Meadowlark to basically Flathead Electric. That's what $1 million buys us these days. In 2021, let me back up. In 2021, the Evergreen Community Partners got a TA grant, Transportation Assistance Grant, to build sidewalks from the old Kmart at Highway 2 and 35 and to go up to the fire station at Meadowlark and Highway 2 to build sidewalks there and create safe routes there. House Bill 472 extends that a little ways, and that way we'll be able to capture more neighborhoods like Ridgewood Terrace, Spring Creek. There's some other streets there that Sunset that I'm just not remembering at the moment, and but it captures those neighborhoods. Unfortunately, that bill did not progress outside of the Transportation Committee, but we had an incredible hearing, and the Department of Transportation came in with a lot of great information, and we were able to successfully get the project included in House Bill 5. House Bill 5 is the state infrastructure bill. It's a $100+ million behemoth. And luckily, this Evergreen Sidewalk project is now included in House Bill 5.
Oh.
So the battle is now going to turn to keeping the project in House Bill 5 and making sure that the kids in Evergreen have safe routes to schools, right? So
the
battle continues, just not, unfortunately, in House Bill 472.
You're gonna be famous for king of the walking paths.
Oh my gosh, that's another nickname.
Yeah, the railway. You get the sidewalks in Evergreen.
Oh my gosh.
I care about people walking.
I'm a walker myself, so yeah.
One day there will be sidewalks in Evergreen, I believe, and it will be because of you. So I think you should be proud.
So just a quick question. Where is this money, the $1 million, where is it actually coming from? Is it coming from like the marijuana tax? Like where's the extra money coming from?
So our state has a $2.5 billion surplus right now. And where that comes from is during the federal stimulus during COVID, the inflation and people just generally paying more property tax. The bulk of that money is going to be returned to Montana property taxpayers through. Well, let me back up. So the bulk of the state budget is funded through income tax. About 70% of our state budget is funded through income tax. Your property tax comes to the local level, the cities and the counties.
City, county, yeah.
Because that's, if you look at your tax bill, the majority of that is like schools, special districts like fire districts, and then the rest goes to cities and counties. So with this $2.5 billion surplus, what we're going to be doing is, I think it's either 500 or 1,000, and I'm just not remembering at the moment. Don't have enough coffee in me yet. We'll be coming back to Montana property taxpayers. Property taxpayers, and then income taxpayers will be receiving $1,250 for individuals, and then $2,500 for joint married couples. So you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's based on your 2021 taxes. So.
Oh, okay.
And when does that come?
I still filed married at 21, so I'm getting a little extra. Shh, don't tell her.
Mark.
Those bills are a part of the surplus budget package, and they will be finalized soon. But they moved past the House. They'll be heard in the Senate here soon, and on their way to the governor's desk.
Cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So there's a few kind of a special topic of us. There's quite a few real estate bill like pertaining to real estate. A lot of bills going through now.
Why would you guys care about real estate?
Why would we care?
We're
the last people to care about bills in real estate, right?
Oh my gosh.
So every week during legislative session, I get an update from Montana Association of Realtors, and it's a list of bills that they support and bills that they don't support. And I'm not exactly sure how much I'm supposed to talk about that and what they.
Let's find out together.
Yeah, let's find out. let's poke
find
the
out
hornet's
together.
nest.
Well, you're going to really find out tomorrow. Mark and I are also very active in the Government Affairs Committee for the Real Estate Association, and you get to come with Courtney Sprunker and talk tomorrow. So.
Yeah. Well, government is just such a crucial part of housing. And I know right now there's a housing crunch, and there's a lot of people with different, or opposing ideas on how to fix it. And the funniest one I hear is just lower the price of housing. And it's like, okay, well,
we can't do that.
Tell
Buyers
everyone
do
to
that.
sell for less.
Sell for
All right, we'll try. But
it's that simple, guys. Just stop jacking up the prices.
Just stop jacking up the prices, you dirty, rotten realtors. Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
You said that, I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
It was said to me. I was just repeating someone else.
We're bringing them here, didn't you?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a handful of bills. How do you? Let's see. Tell us, how does someone look up a bill while I'm pulling this up?
Absolutely. So anyone can go to the state legislative website. It's leg.mt.gov. And up in the upper left-hand corner, it says something. What does it say? Find a bill.
I've got a bill found.
Okay.
I've already got one pulled up.
Okay, so you can look up your bill by either a bill number or by bill topic. So any topic from A to Z, you can look up. You can see who's sponsoring it, where it's at in the process, and if we can back up and do a little bit of Schoolhouse Rock explaining. Bills start out as bill drafts and just ideas that become legal language. Once that is introduced, it gets a bill number. So, like the sidewalk bill is 472. Until I introduced it, it was just an idea, right? An LC number. Once that was introduced, it got a bill title or a bill number, got a bill title, and started making its way through the process. So once that occurs, it gets referred to a committee, whatever committee best represents that general idea of a bill.
The Sidewalk King Committee.
Yes. So so that went to transportation. It was heard in committee. We had a great hearing on that, and that's where opponents, proponents, informational witnesses, we as representatives can ask a question on that from the bill sponsor, really grill them and be able to say, is this idea right for Montana, whatever that idea is. We then take executive action on that bill, and if it makes it out of committee, it then goes to the House floor. A bill has to be read 3 times on the House floor in order for it to make it across. But we start taking votes on that on the second reading. So the bill sponsor has to stand up on the House floor, present their idea to the House. Every 100 members gets to. Let me rephrase that. Each member, there's 100 of us, get to vote on that. Some ideas make it, some do not. And then you vote on it again the next day on third reading. Once a bill makes it past that, it is then transmitted to the other house, in my case, the Senate. And so it has to then go through the exact same process over there and make it through that process and reach the governor's desk for that bill to become law.
To be signed into law. Oh. So it has to be passed in the House. It has to make it through 3 times in the House. Yes. Then it has to make it through the Senate 3 times. And then it has to be signed by the governor, and then it becomes law.
Yes.
So that's just...
How do you have time to do everything? That's insane.
They live down there for 90 days, and that's all they do.
But that's all,
I don't want to brag, but I make $13 an hour, so
oh my gosh,
we're making the big bucks. No, but that's the thing is, right? Laws should be difficult to make.
Yeah.
If Montanans are going to make laws, we need to really dig down deep and make sure that those laws are right for Montanans, because Montanans are, we're not big government people. We're limited government, limited taxes people, and we want to make sure that Montana remains Montana, and so we want to be really discerning in what laws we limit ourselves by. So that's the big rub, right? Is this law right for Montana? Do we need to correct this, or do we need to leave it alone?
We just want to pick huckleberries.
We just want to pick huckleberries in peace, gosh darn it. So yeah, things should be difficult. Yeah. And it does take time, right? Because you got to convince people of your idea. You got to get people on board. Is this...
And when you say people, you mean your fellow legislators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you have to be networking with them, and like this is how I compute it in my mind. Just because I'm gonna say, like, you have to be selling them on why your idea is good enough to earn the vote.
Yes. You have to sell Sunset.
But
on a piece of paper.
But on a piece of paper.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So what would the show be called for? Just kidding.
So let's just jump into this one. It's House Bill number 246, and I'm calling it the tiny House bill.
The tiny House
I think
bill.
I think that's kind of what it might be called.
Okay.
But it says a bill for an act entitled an act providing that counties and cities may create zoning districts that allow for tiny dwelling units, defining tiny dwelling unit, revising a definition, and amending sections 76-2, yada, 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 Montana Code annotated. So I guess I don't exactly know the rules and laws in Kalispell City pertaining to tiny homes. You can't have one. You can have one. This is going to allow you to.
This one, it sounds like this bill will allow you to have tiny homes in city limits.
That could be interesting.
I did vote for this, but I think it does come down to. Let's see. I think it comes down to: do cities have the option? This is really exciting television right now.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, so obviously housing is a crunch right now, and this is just one of many pieces of legislation that seeks to address our housing shortage. In my personal opinion, we can do things like this, and we are doing things like this, but at some point we just have to have that uncomfortable period of time where we need to work this out, right? With supply chain issues, with housing prices, with taxes. It all needs to work through this uncomfortable period, which is probably going to take a couple more years. We've already been in a couple of years to get through this housing shortage. Really, and I hate to say that, but some issues just take time.
Yeah.
And that's really difficult when you've got 3 kids and you're trying to find a house, and I totally get it.
And you're like, hey, I don't have time. I need to pay rent that's affordable, or I need a house now. Yeah. Yeah,
and it's difficult, but our current housing shortage goes back to the last recession.
It does.
Where people they weren't building as much.
Yeah.
We're probably 15 years behind on building houses in the Flathead.
Yeah.
That's problematic now.
I was at a builder conference, and I won't mention the company's name, but they said that Kalispell has a 5% shortage of single family homes. 5%. It's a lot of inventory.
That is, yeah.
That and if you can't just create 5% more housing just like that. The amount, not overnight. No, it takes years to build it, and you have to be building in excess of what you need in order to catch up to what you're lacking, right?
And
so
we're
not doing that. Subdivisions aren't going through as quickly as they should be or could be. I don't think builders can hardly afford to do a subdivision with impact fees what they are, and I'm kind of speaking out of my ass there a little bit, but it's just kind of what I've been heard, and that's probably from that side of things. But my question about tiny houses, are they really a solution? That's why I brought that up. Are they really a good solution?
I don't know. And it's not my place to judge, but I think that it's a temporary solution. What I would like to see is maybe more use of, where appropriate, ADUs in the back. So maybe you could put a tiny home in the backyard for your parents. In one of those senior living situations, or have one in your backyard and rent it out to a college kid. Something like that would perhaps be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And then therein lies the question: are they restricted to not nightly, weekly? Because right now you can nightly, weekly anything in Kalispell.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
There's no regulation in city limits on if you can or not. So if it's
conditional use permit.
You just need a conditional use permit. Yeah.
Well, something like that would probably need to be determined by the city council. On the local level, what is best for Kalispell or Whitefish or Columbia Falls. I don't necessarily know if we need to come over with the state legislature and make a blanket rule for all the state. Because Montanans believe in local control and the control, or, the smallest government possible. But yeah, we do need to look at more affordable options and make sure that the code, regulations and code are as minimal as possible to ensure that everyone has the right to buy the place and the affordability to buy the place that they want to live.
Yeah.
I don't have a family, so I don't necessarily need 5 acres and a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. A small condo is perfectly fine for me, but there are larger families, and some people like to have horses and agriculture. There should be a place for everyone at different price points.
Yeah, agreed.
I should become a realtor.
Good luck.
If I had $1 for every time I'd heard that.
Yeah, every time I've heard that over the last 2 years.
I know.
Membership is going down, by the way. We've lost like 200 members this year.
Good
so,
gosh.
and I think we'll lose another 200.
Yeah. Won't be us, knock on wood.
No, it definitely won't be us.
But I also remember, I was just sitting here thinking, you were, I think, our first guest for our podcast a year ago.
I think so. You're like exactly at the 1 year mark.
What?
I know.
We'll hand that back to you.
But you were like predicting that a lot more, especially because they got rid of the ordinance in Kalispell of the height limit, you said, for building up, that there was going to be a lot more business on the bottom level and then apartments going up from there.
Mixed use.
Mixed use
development.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
like
happening, right, with Ruiz's development there, the condos.
the silos project that Mick Ruiz is spearheading.
Yeah.
And that's the style that we will see coming forth here in the next.
And that's blowing up in Columbia Falls too, and it's all over. But I was just thinking, you're right.
And that style makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, same.
To me, I don't think, and I might get some backlash on this, but I don't think townhouse or tiny homes are really the answer. I don't think people really like them that much for like the cost of them. I don't think they're that much more affordable than condos.
How much is a tiny home?
They can be, I've actually looked into this a lot because one of my cousins is trying to buy one and put it on their land, but it depends on the finishes that you want, right?
It can be expensive.
It can be really expensive. But I think the minimum, they're like around $20,000 minimum. Right. And they could go up from there. I've seen them up to 80, 100,000.
But it's like not even real. It's like only realistic if you're like a college kid. I mean, or if you're like a new couple or something like that.
Empty
nesters that, I mean, it's very specific, the type of people that can actually like fit in them and live in it. Like if you've got kids, there's no like, I mean, if you're packing 3 kids in a tiny house, that's something else,
more
man.
More power to you. Everyone thinks they can do it, but once like you're in it,
2-bed, 3-bed condominium, that it just makes way more sense. Building up, it just is hands down better.
And then people can share the rent cost.
And common area maintenance. You don't mow the lawn. Condominiums make a lot of sense. But
not that people
Montanans don't they don't necessarily like to see them.
Mm-mm.
They don't want to see that look, you know? And it's like, well, you got to do something. You have to build something, right? Like,
well, yeah, you can either build up or out. So do you want to, and we only have, in the Flathead Valley, we only have so much agriculture land. So do we want to preserve that and go up a couple of stories?
Yes.
Or do we want, in the next couple of years, our ag land to be, and really what that comes down to is city council and county commissioners making growth decisions. Do you like how I push off the responsibility?
I did. Yeah, you totally delegated the.
But it's true.
It's not me, guys.
It's not me. I swear. I didn't vote for that.
Hey, let's just cut real quick. Okay, we're back. Okay, this is a pertinent one. Okay, this is one that MAR opposes. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that or not. I'll find out.
Yeah, you better find that out before you hit the edit button.
No, we'll see. I'm not afraid. I ain't scared.
This is just Mark saying Mark things.
I ain't scared of shit. All right. So it's Senate Bill 323. And it is. Okay, this is it's a Senate bill. So, but it did pass. So it's coming to you.
Okay. So I've yet to see it.
So you've yet to see it. It's Trabius? Jeremy Trebus.
From Great Falls.
Okay, a bill for an act entitled, an act generally revising municipal zoning laws requiring certain cities to permit, allow the use of duplex, triplex, and fourplex housing in zoning regulations, providing definitions, and then it references MCA, Montana Code Annotated.
Yeah. So what this sounds like, and I've yet to see this bill, certain cities, so how do they define certain cities?
Well, it said 50, so if you're 50,000 in population or more.
Okay. So
which Kalispell's not there yet.
No.
Kalispell's not.
Okay, no. Okay.
Yeah. So it has to be in the city.
Kalispell was.
No.
The greater Flathead Valley, yes, but city limits are actually much smaller than...
No, I knew that, but for some reason...
So we're not there yet, but this would affect us in the future when we hit that.
Totally.
And it also says, so this bill says allow. So in my mind, it leaves it up to the individual cities whether or not they want to add this zoning in. So it sounds optional in my mind without going through a bill on a podcast.
So I find it, to me, this is, I don't know why that bill's opposed, but I'm sure there's some sort of, protecting developers or something like that. But to me, duplex, triplex, fourplex in city limits, that means converting single family homes to that, which could be a better use. And we had Brendan Lee on the podcast. He's done that. He's done single family homes, turned them into triplex. So now, you're using the footprint that existed, and now instead of one family living in it, you're doubling, tripling, or quadrupling that, which is a huge benefit, right? So you've turned one house into 4 units. That's 3 more families you can put in there at a much lower cost per square foot of rent.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that's a better solution than tiny homes.
Well, that might, depending in the neighborhood or the city, that might work out well.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this bill sounds optional, so it would allow cities and towns flexible options, which is probably what we need to help us get out of this housing crunch.
Mm-hmm. Whenever I see more inventory, an opportunity for more inventory, that's the solution to our problem. Like housing will come down if there's more inventory.
Yeah, we just need time.
Yeah, exactly. Time and like sensible, direction. I do feel like there's been a lack of direction in the development of Kalispell until like very recent years, I would say. Well, I mean, wouldn't you kind of agree?
Yeah, I think in the last few years we've gained a direction and a course in terms of the Kalispell downtown rail redevelopment project and efforts to redevelop north of town, and I think we're deciding what we want to be when we grow up.
What we want to be, exactly. Yeah, it was said to me, Rod Kuntz, which we need to get him on.
Yeah.
But when I got into real estate a long time ago, and he used to be on city council for Kalispell, and I know him through working with him at Don K. He said to me, he's like, mark my words. He's like, it's not going to be within my lifetime, and it might be within your lifetime, Mark. But Kalispell city skyline will look like the Denver skyline.
Wow.
In the next probably 50 years, so it's like you'll be an old man, but you'll probably see it.
Oh my gosh.
And I've that's always stuck in my mind, and I'm looking at where, what's being the silos and everything and all the projects. And I'm like, yeah, Rod was right. He saw it. He knew it.
Well, Rod's a pretty sensible guy, so he's probably not too far off base.
What do you think of that? I mean, you grew up here. I pretty much grew up here. You grew up here. Yeah. What do you think of the direction of Kalispell?
Kalispell will always be home to me, and I think that we are on a good path now. In deciding, as I said a couple of seconds ago, what we want to be when we grow up. Kalispell is it's the heart of the Flathead Valley. It's the business district. It's the professional services, it's everything, right? We've got the Costco, we've got the things, right? So what we need to do is make sure that those businesses are the staples, and we need to support them as much as possible. And downtown Main Street and our local accountant, and we need to make sure that those businesses thrive.
Yes.
We've also got a hardy manufacturing sector and a growing technology sector here in the Flathead, and Kalispell probably will be the hub for all of that. Whitefish is the recreational area. Columbia Falls is redeveloping and deciding what it wants to be when it grows up, and we've each got our own little pockets, which make us great in our individual communities. I think Kalispell will continue to grow and be the service sector of the Flathead, whether that be business services, whether that be you name it, right? But that is Kalispell's core bread and butter, right? If you want a realtor, you go to Kalispell. Yeah. And that's just I think that's who we are, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love Kalispell. We are a great community. And we have even more opportunity. As I've frequently said, our best days are ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I like. Oh, sorry, Mark.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, I like what you said a year ago when you were on our podcast. I've actually used it too because people ask, like, you guys are just bringing them here, like say all the things to us, and I liked what you said. It's now is the opportunity if you want to see Kalispell changed in the right way. We've already been discovered. We can't stop the growth. So you might as well get involved, vote, get involved in your community, and help shape what the future looks like and what we want to be when we grow up.
Whoever told you that was really smart guy.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. But no, I've long said it right. Decisions are made by those who show up, and it's important that if people want to see change in their community or they want to keep their community as it is, they need to get involved. They need to go to city council meetings. They need to educate themselves on the process, right? We have a laptop here, and we're going through the process of how you look up bills. That's what you need to do at every level of your government, and make sure, and reach out to me and other representatives and say, hey, buddy, I want to see X, or I need your help with this, and make sure that your representatives know your name and that you see them out and about, and you're willing to, pull them aside in the grocery store and have a conversation. Some of those conversations are not pleasant.
Yeah.
But I need to hear from my constituents, and constituents need to reach out to not only me, but also other representatives and senators, and ensure that our finger does not leave the pulse of our community.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I think it's a great point what you made. I mean, how many people actually sit down and go on and look up bills and read that kind of stuff? Very, very few. But if more did, the uneducated whining, right? Like is like if you don't even know what you're talking about, you haven't even done any due diligence on it. Like,
so
you're stopping me. Go
no,
ahead.
well, it simply reminded me last night on Flathead 411, our favorite.
Yes,
favorite
our favorite website.
I had to stop.
There was a post, and somebody had taken a photo of one of the mountains, and she was complaining about she I don't know what the person was, but there was a ice fisherman out on the lake, and this person was complaining that the ice fisherman was ruining their beautiful shot, and I just wanted to reply, which golden handcuffs I can't. I just want to say, friend, this is Montana. You know,
Yeah.
You can ice fish.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and enjoy your day on the lake. And you can take your photos too.
State owns the water. It's public land.
If you don't like, what's
that's what I was literally just going to say. This is why you sign a water right agreement with every purchase or rental.
Well, if you don't like your view, change it. Move the viewfinder slightly to the left or the right, and you get that shot. But don't complain if somebody is sitting there also enjoying their favorite activity.
Enjoying the same thing that you literally are, you know? Like
the reason why we all love Montana.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, this has been enlightening and a fun discussion for sure.
Yes, for sure.
It's
I learn
always
something
good.
every time you're on. So
Yeah. Go spend a day down in Helena.
Yeah,
and I learned a lot from that. That was really
I'm
educational.
doing it next year.
Anyone is always welcome to come to Helena, sit in committees, sit in the House floor, or the Senate or House gallery or the Senate gallery, and just watch us do our work, because we're doing it on behalf of Montanans, right? And we're going to get stuff right, and we're going to get stuff wrong, and there's always a next legislative session where we can come back and correct it and move the needle forward for our communities and our state as a whole.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Agreed. Anything else you want to say? Any parting words?
No,
Message?
just feel free to reach out to me. I'm a public official now, so my contact information is it's public. But my state email is tony.brockman@leg.mt.gov. So reach out, let me know your thoughts, your concerns, your hopes, your wishes, and I look forward to continuing to represent the fine people of Evergreen and North Kalispell
For the next 2 years.
for the next 2 years.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tony.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you again soon. I'm sure we'll have you back on.
Please like and subscribe.
Yes. Thank you.